Hello, all of my awesome AWANA leaders. I am excited for this coming Wednesday. I am going to be with the youth this Wednesday. So Paige is going to be teaching in the Sparks, and it's going to be a great week because we have great verses. And let's get started and see what's going on. So Sparks, you are going to be continuing with John 3. We're going to be learning 14 through 16. So it says, just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up. And that's John 3:14. TNT, you have a beautiful verse out of Psalms. And it says, Psalm 16:11, you make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand. I love how like a thread, God just puts a thread in our lives, and like sometimes the same lesson kind of continues in your life. And one of the things that the Lord's been showing me is I'm not a demanding God that is like, you must go my way, but He's showing us the right path for our good. I am showing you, He's like, I want to make known to you the path of life. It is just so beautiful. And we have the choice to follow down that path. And with that, we're going to be filled with so much joy in His presence and eternal pleasures at His right hand. I think so many times we want instant gratification here, and we want our rewards here. And if we can teach these kids, there's a reward in heaven that will never go away. That is where the real treasure is, which leads me to the books of the Bible, because that is a treasure. So we are going to be doing 2 new books. We're going to be doing Titus and Philemon. So let's look at all of them. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, and then Philemon. Okay, games. Games absolutely play into what we're going to be doing. If we are talking about eternal treasures, we're going to have a treasure hunt. So I'm going to have a whole bunch of different treasures on one end, and we're going to have kids divided into groups at the other end behind a cone. They're going to race down one at a time and grab treasures. But what they don't know is there's only 3 treasures that are going to be the actual treasures. And whichever teams get that, they have won the points for that round. Okay, game number 2 is called Noodle Relay. So we're going to have like the same groups behind their cones. There's going to be a noodle. They're going to race down around the second cone on that noodle, and then they're going to get their buddy. And then 2 people are going to race down on that cone. And then there's going to be 3 people racing down on that cone. And whenever they complete that with their whole group, so that's why we kind of need even groups. So whether it's 3 in a group, but I wouldn't put more than 4 in a group, but I'd really recommend like 3 per group. That's when like they complete that one, and then they've won. Next relay race. This is going to be super fun. We need them into 4 groups. Okay. 4 different groups, and each group is going to be assigned one of the faces of the cards. So they're going to be spades, clubs, hearts, or diamonds. And the cards are going to be all on the floor, all mixed up. And they're going to race down, and they're going to pick up one card from their group, and then they're going to race back. And whichever group gets all 12, 13 of those cards, they win. So we have a couple things coming up, just so that you know. Our spring break is March 18th. We're going to be out. So that full week is actually like the 15th. Let me make sure I'm telling you correctly. March 15th. Well, that's a Sunday. We're here the 15th. March 16th through the 20th. There's really no activities going on that week. We have a couple things, and I want these kids to start getting ready for this. In April, we're going to have books of the Bible, Old New Testament challenge on April 15th. That's going to be right after Easter. Then they're going to do all the books of the Old Testament, all the books of the Bible on the 22nd. So that is their whole challenge that evening. And then we're having awards night on the 29th. So continue to send me pictures because I'm going to be putting together a neat little slideshow showing things that they've done. We're going to have a celebration, giving awards out. I am going to be coming around and I want to make sure we're seeing kids that have completed or on the verge of completing, because we want to make sure that they get the proper awards this year. And I'm going to be putting that order in next week. Then after that in May, we're going to have a couple fun Wednesdays, but we're going to be getting ready for graduation is going to be happening. So it's kind of a time where we've realized that not tons of kids end up coming through the month of May. But we're going to be getting ready for VBS and all of those things that are in the summertime. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't signed up to help for VBS, our registration is open. We would love for you to help at VBS this year. And lots of other things happening this summer. We have, or even with Easter, if there's going to be sign-ups starting. And one of the beautiful things I heard recently, so this is my word of encouragement to you guys, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. So in a relay race, oftentimes there's a baton, and that baton is getting passed to the next person. But if we stop and think about it, in our walk of faith, someone passed the baton to us. I'm thinking about Ken Allen, who was my Sunday school teacher. I'm thinking about Janice Marshall, who we had her funeral over the weekend, passed the baton by teaching me when I was a kid. Barbie Clayton passed the baton to me. The youth workers, Barbara Cassidy, Doug Bilderback, they passed the baton to me. And they taught me, you are passing the baton to the next generation. And I want you to stop and think, who is in your group that is going to go on to do great and awesome things for God? Some of these kids, literally, they're changing like their lineage right now because they didn't grow up in a church, or they didn't grow up in a family where their family goes to church. Some of these kids are coming on their own. They're changing the destiny of their lives. So, whose life are you impacting and who are you passing the baton to? Thank you guys so much for loving these kids enough to pass the baton to them and to pass on faith, because it is contagious. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you Wednesday.